Hello, welcome to Mostly Speakers. I would like to show you in this video a video tour of my home theater setup, which I have here in my basement. This was featured recently on the Audiophiliac YouTube channel in the Viewer System of the Day section, and I wanted to show you in a little bit more detail what I have. Alright, I will start in the middle here, and then I will save the best for last. So we have an 8-foot wide Elite Screens projection screen, and nothing special about that. And then in the middle, I have set up my center channel speaker, which is made out of one single Altec 288C driver, mated to a horn, and I haven't dusted it yet, as you can see, but I will do that in its own video. Each side of the horn is two boxes that I built myself. Each box contains two Dayton Audio 5-inch mid-range drivers. They're wired together to be 16 ohm load each. Now the reason I did that is so that I could use, so they are actually built as miniature PA speakers that I can take out of the theater and use for small PA system needs. I wired them that I would be able to hook them up to this PV amplifier sitting, which is turned backwards right now, and so that would give that amplifier an easy 8 ohm load for the two speakers. Alright, left and right sides of my screen are the Electro-Voice Century 4 speakers. These were built in the mid-1970s, and each cabinet weighs 150 pounds. Each speaker has two 12-inch woofers with Alnico magnets. They feature a Alnico mid-range horn and an Alnico tweeter. Both horns are constant directivity with a 120-degree horizontal dispersion. Now you might notice something unusual about the speaker setup in these cabinets, and I will move closer and show you what exactly is the deal with these. This gives them quite an imposing look. Let me just pan down and I will show you what's in the bottoms of these cabinets. Seems these speakers are wireless. Well, there's a reason that the drivers actually have been removed from both of these cabinets, and that is because they are all four have been damaged. All four woofer surrounds were completely destroyed. They were dry rotted and falling apart. What's worse is that because they were actively in use until I acquired them, the woofers were pushed often pretty hard, the original woofers, and with not so great EQ settings actually caused the voice coils to warp. So every single woofer coil rubs, which is quite unfortunate because these woofers actually deliver a really great sound. So the restoration of these large speakers will be its own video, and each cabinet has a different temporary driver in them. The cabinet I'm looking at currently, I found and installed a Electro-Voice 12L driver, which has the output capability of, by itself, there's only a single woofer in this cabinet right now, and that by itself has the output equivalent to both of the original woofers. Now the other cabinet over here has two 12-inch woofers that I actually pulled out of a console stereo. They have much smaller Alnico magnets, but they together can still provide plenty of output for my room, and they serve as temporary until I can repair or replace all of the original woofers. The console radio, believe it or not, was actually, I drug it home down the street because one of my neighbors was throwing it out, and I pulled it out. It turns out that all of the drivers in those were still good. I'm going to show you that here. This room also serves as storage for my extra audio equipment, and way up here on my shelf I have what I like to call my miniature museum of antique audio equipment. On the shelf we have two Shure audio mixers from the 1970s. I believe both of those mixers actually were in the same facility that the Electro Voice speakers were. Next to them on the shelf is a Pilot radio amplifier manufactured by Pilot that was installed in the console stereo, and I have not turned it on or attempted to since I acquired it quite a while ago. That deserves its own video. However, I don't really know how to repair it right now, so it sits in my storage on the shelf for now. Alright, I'm going to show you a close-up of behind the projection screen. So these are my miniature PA speakers, and you can see the throat of the horn right here. Behind the screen I have other things stored, and also a stack of some of my PA equipment that I use occasionally. You can also see the other Altec horn facing backwards, so I actually do have a pair of them. And that one unfortunately is damaged. The horn diaphragm, the driver diaphragm, has some sort of damage to it where I cannot use it right now, so it is in storage, and the other one works okay. The center channel is bi-amplified so that I am able to use a DSP to protect the horn so that it does not get destroyed. Behind the screen are two subwoofers. They were not originally built as subwoofers, but I used them as such. They were originally Fisher Tower speakers, cheaply built from the mid-1980s, and they use cheap stamped steel 12-inch woofers. They're ideal for movies. They're not highly musical, and they don't have a lot of what some people would call speed. They might be more muddy, boomy, sloppy. Well, I have a solution to that turns these cheap 12-inch woofers into something quite spectacular. Let's go take a look at the equipment rack, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here is my turntable. It is a Technics Direct Drive SL1410 Mark II. And I had to replace the cord on it because one of the channels was cutting out, and I still have one other repair to make on it. It's stuck in mute actually, so I can't use it at the moment. I have to repair the tone arm lift lever mechanism is damaged, and it's consequently stuck in mute, so there's no audio right now. Alright, this is my equipment rack. Up at the top I have a Sony Blu-ray player. Right now it is actually fully in analog mode, where I'm using component video to the video projector and then stereo analog audio to my receiver. I was able to find this equipment rack for free, and I love the fact that it is so retro with the 1960s green and chrome. Alright, at the top I have power protection and a light unit so that I can light up the rack when I'm watching movies. Next down I have an Alesis 3630 compressor. Now I have it bypassed for the most part when I'm only listening to music, but it is beneficial for watching movies that have high dynamics and I don't really want to blow my ears out. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of compression in the audio chain. Below that is the Sony STR V55. Is it the best piece of equipment out there? No, but it does do what I need for the most part. It has a digital tuner and works pretty good. I actually have it hooked up to a rooftop antenna on my house. And below the tuner is the Pioneer stereo graphic equalizer and spectrum analyzer. I don't use it at the moment for equalization. I only use it as a spectrum analyzer. The way that works is that the audio pre-out of the Sony actually routes through the Pioneer, then it's routed through the Alesis compressor, then back into the Sony for amplification to the two Electro Voice speakers. Now the nice thing about this is that I can also use it for powering the speakers in the other side of my basement. Alright, moving down is a Shure DSP, which I was able to acquire for free. This is a early 2000s professional grade DSP, and it certainly is not audiophile grade, but it does do the job. It is currently set up. It provides a crossover and protection for my biamplified mid-range or biamplified Altec horn, and a little bit of equalization for the Altec horn. The other thing that the DSP does is crossover for the subwoofers. Moving down the rack to the amplification is my Adcom GFA 545. This is 100 watts per channel and a very clean and quiet amplifier by itself. It is really revealing of noisy sources. Below the Adcom is another very great amplifier in my opinion. It is the Hafler P500. I was actually able to acquire this from a local theater that I had helped work on the sound system for and upgraded. And I ended up with the old amplifiers, and this one is set up to power my subwoofers. The P500 is 255 watts per channel, substantially more than I would ever need in this small room. But the nice thing about the Hafler is that they have a very clean, very warm, very tight sound to the bass. Bottom of the rack is my surround sound channel amplifier. It is nothing special. It is a Crown Comtech 200. Actually came with the green rack. And that powers two Klipsch R14M speakers. I hope you enjoyed this video tour of my home theater setup. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you want to see more videos like this on my channel. Each piece of equipment in this room really deserves its own separate video. So if you would, please like the video and subscribe, and thank you for watching.